A new max cushion shoe from Saucony that uses their top tier foam? Now we're talking. I'm Frank from Daily Grind Running, and today I have a shoe review of the all-new Saucony Paramount Max. Is this soft shoe bouncy and smooth, or is it dead and lifeless and have me singing the blues? After some miles testing, I'll know for sure whether or not this shoe is Daily Grind approved. Let's go. Look at this. Squish test. All right, I'm out here in the Saucony Paramount Max. So far, this feels like a very pleasant and bouncy marshmallow. So we'll see. I'm looking for a nice comfy cruiser that's got some good pop and bounce, but also allows you to run at slow speeds. I'm a big fan of these elf heel flares, the anatomical elf heel, if you will, where your foot, whoa, hey there, buddy. Man, my neighborhood's been getting smashed recently from storms. But anyways, when you have that nice heel flare, you really feel a secure bucket-like feel. You don't want any heel lift when you run. That can ruin the entire ride. And there are some shoes that are like that, where the ride really is fantastic, but you have some heel lift where your foot slides and it really ruins the entire shoe. This is one of those comfort-oriented uppers with a lot of padding. It could run a little bit warm. It has some overlays and has that engineered mesh that is not entirely breathable. But lately, I don't really care what I'm running in. It's so hot and humid in North Carolina that I don't notice a difference really between a very breathable upper and a hotter upper. The difference for me is that some of these thicker uppers just cause more weight. Definitely notice a thinner breathable upper because the shoe is going to weigh less. When you have a lightweight upper on a very boat-like shoe, then the shoe can feel very bottom heavy. So I don't know if there's a perfect recipe when it comes to that. And I just trust the shoe engineers that they're making a shoe that is balanced, breathable, lightweight, all the above. The shoe is not lightweight by any means, but the weight distribution feels nice. So this shoe falls in that mileage eater category, but on the easier side of things. So if you want a mileage eater that keeps you feeling fresh the next day when you're running slow, or if you were in a different shoe, you would really feel banged up, beat up, and barely able to even get the miles in, then that's what this shoe is best suited for. This shoe surprisingly feels good on the long run. I'm about 6 miles in and the foam feels consistent. I don't feel like I have to get the shoe off my foot. But some of these shoes like this, after about an hour, I can't wait to get home and get the shoe off. they lose the bounce, they lose the protection, and so they're best for like an hour. This shoe, I could see going for about 2 hours on a long run, and then I'd be about done. But hey, a 2-hour long run is the longest that you typically run for a lot of your long runs anyways. I mean, if you're really getting the miles up, then you might go for 3.5. If you're a slower mid-pack or back-of-the-pack marathoner like me, then your long runs during a marathon training block could be 3 hours plus. But yeah, I don't think I want to do more than about 12. I don't think I want to do more than about 12, 13 miles in this shoe. One of the things I love about this shoe is that it is not a dual density. It is not a dual foam setup. There is no top layer of soft with firm layer on the bottom. There's no plate. So you're getting full incredible run throughout the entirety of the midsole. Of course, again, it is tuned for daily training. So it's not the same as the race foam, but the characteristics of this foam do feel the same as the Endorphin Elite 2. I have not tried version 3 yet, but this ride does make me want to try version 3 with the different cutouts being gone and some different changes. I am looking forward to seeing how this would pair with the Endorphin Elite 3 for my paces and for my foot strike. The Incredi-Run in this shoe is offset somewhat by the very big platform. So you have a lot of heft underfoot, you have a very wide base, and so even though the foam is very soft and bouncy, you're definitely turning over a big shoe. And that's why this leans towards recovery and comfort. The shoe that this reminds me of the most is the SC Trainer V1 from New Balance. So if you ran in that shoe, then you might know what I'm talking about. That shoe had a very tall stack of squishy foam. There was a plate in it, but it was a slow, comfortable shoe. And for me, I would put that shoe on when I was going zone 1, zone 2, and really just trying to go easy in recovery paces. And for whatever reason, it really just worked. For some people, that kind of a shoe might be too taxing to run in for your easy and recovery shoe. But for me, that shoe was perfect. I got such a nice squish and bounce, but definitely on the comfort-oriented side of things, definitely a slow shoe. If I wanted to pick the pace up, it felt too soft and too slow, and that carbon plate just helped with stability, not with speed or snap. And the Paramount Max is the same way. This is just an easy, plodding along, bop along kind of shoe where I don't even check my watch for the pace or any metrics whatsoever. I just put it on, and if I'm doing 7 miles, I'm just gonna be thinking about something else. This shoe is the best comfortable and slow, bouncy super trainer on the market in 2026. That's what I'm feeling right now. It really feels like that massage chair for your feet. It just feels like it dampens the ride, helps you to feel a little bit better when you are very tired, and allows you to keep getting mileage in when maybe it's time for a rest day. I do think that this shoe does warrant the extra $20 to $30 that you would pay over some of those other Max Stack daily trainers, the Bondi, the Clifton, even some of the shoes, like I said, in Saucony's own lineup, like the Triumph 24. You do get a better bounce, more cushioned. When I say that the Paramount Max is bouncy, it is a more squishy bounce. It's not a energetic or poppy bounce. What it does is it allows you to sink deep into the foam to get as much compression as you need, but then it bounces you back so you don't get stuck in the mud. The Topo Spectre 3, for example, is bouncy, but it's an energetic and responsive bounce. So I wouldn't call this a poppy or energetic bounce where you get tons of energy return, but you get the soft sink in compression and the bounce to keep you from being stuck down deep into the foam, which enables you to have a nice turnover when you're just trying to go easy. The shoes are not sapping energy from you. Some shoes you can run in and they are soft and they are comfortable to run in, but they sap your energy. A Gel Nimbus type of a shoe is a shoe I avoid, a Bondi or a Triumph 24, because those shoes are soft, but you don't get any bounce back from the foam. That's one of my least favorite things in any running shoe, is when you have that pillowy mattress without having any bounce or response. So while I do think that the Paramount Max is better than the Gel Nimbus, the Bondi, the Triumph 24, the problem for this shoe is that it's priced in a higher bracket. So yeah, it should perform above those shoes because it does cost about $25 to $30 more than a lot of those shoes. The closest competitor for the Saucony Paramount Max is the A6 Super Blast 3. So you have to really compare it against the price market for which Saucony placed it. And for me, if I had to only pick one, I would say spend the $10 extra and get the A6. So that's not a knock on this shoe, but when you say, okay, compared to a $210 shoe, a $10 difference, A6 is coming out with this FF Leap foam that, in my opinion, is the best foam on the market. So this is not a comparison video, but I do want to give you some value in these full reviews about whether or not this shoe is worth your hard-earned money. One of the things that the Paramount Max does have going for it is there's not this big bulbous heel hanging off the back. So if you found other shoes to have a choppy geometry, if you felt like the ride didn't work for you or it felt jarring, if you want a soft shoe that is good for easy recovery and daily paces, that is a little bit more smooth, then I think that this shoe really does work for those intended purposes and for those people. All right, I'm nearing the end of a 7-mile run on tired legs, just doing 7 miles of recovery. And overall, it's been a pleasant experience and given me what I need for this run. But that wraps it up for the live reaction review, and we'll send it over to the post-run debrief. I'll see you there. Welcome to the post-run debrief of the Saucony Paramount Max. First of all, at the outset, I'm just going to tell you this shoe is daily grind approved. I love this shoe. This shoe reminds me of why I love running and why I love running shoes. Some of my earliest shoes that I tested years ago that had the same quality were the Hoka Bondi 6 and the Hoka Clifton 6. They were just no frills, fun, comfortable max stack daily trainers, and this is exactly what you're getting in this package, except for it's a modern shoe with a modern foam that has a much higher energy return. This is my favorite Saucony running shoe of all time, or it's at least on the same tier as the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. So that's high praise for me for this shoe. But let's get into the upper first. We have a mesh upper that is not the most breathable. It does have a lot of overlay. So where you see all of the silver, the logo, you see all this stitching. That's one area I think that can be improved in the next iteration. All of this is all overlays. It is very plasticky, but then it's partnered with a very comfortable heel flare here and a nice, comfortable, very padded mesh. It's not the most breathable. You have a very padded tongue, but what you're getting instead is a very, very comfortable package. It's a very comfortable shoe. It feels like a luxurious upper. Again, not the most breathable, so take that for what you will. But for me and how I run in the South, it does not matter if I'm running in a very breathable shoe or a shoe like this. My feet at the end are hot and sweaty. The good thing about it is there are no hot spots, no irritations, no blisters forming. So I had no issues whatsoever with this upper. It's just something to be mindful of. It does fit true to size for me. If you're a wide foot fam, you're gonna feel very at home in this shoe. I do have to cinch the laces up a little bit because my foot is more of a normal to narrow width. But again, if you have a high volume foot, you have plenty of room for vertical toe splay. You have plenty of room in the midfoot, and you're gonna get a nice lockdown in the heel. One of the best aspects of this shoe is this neoprene-like, so if you've ever surfed before and worn a wetsuit, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's this neoprene material here that really feels so nice on the Achilles. It hugs it well, your foot is gonna be locked down, and you're gonna have no heel slip. So again, very comfortable. It's a comfort-oriented shoe and upper, and I really, really do like it overall. Skipping the midsole, we're gonna go to the outsole. You have the XT900 rubber from Saucony, which they've used in other shoes this year, which I did not like. I did not like it in the Saucony Endorphin Azura. I did not like it in the Saucony Triumph 24, but for whatever reason, however they formulated it for the Saucony Paramount Max, it really works. I love this rubber in this application. You get plenty of it. Look at that, almost a full coverage on the outsole. It should be very durable for hundreds of miles. And it's also very tacky. Again, look at this shoe. It's a behemoth. You can see it really well from the bottom of the shoe. Look how wide this landing platform is in the forefoot. Look at the heel. So you're gonna have plenty of space on the landing zone and plenty of coverage. Let's move on to the midsole, right? That's the hero of the shoe. You have 43 millimeters of stack in the heel, 37 in the forefoot for a 6 millimeter drop of this all new Incrediron foam that Saucony introduced last year. And this is the first application in a training shoe that I have tested, and it's fantastic. What does it feel like underfoot? It's soft, it's squishy. You sink really into the midline of this foam, but it's so bouncy, it's so resilient that you get a quick bounce back and a nice turnover on your stride. But look at this. Because it is so soft, I mean, I can squeeze this together, right? You need this wide landing platform both in the forefoot and the heel to keep it stable. Somehow, Saucony has engineered this shoe to still be stable despite how soft this foam is. I don't have any stability issues typically, but sometimes my right ankle can feel some pain and soreness the next day after running in a shoe that's very squishy and not very stable because of an old injury that I have. I don't feel that in this shoe. This shoe I ran once at, well, I think I ran twice for 8 miles at an easy pace, and it just kept me turning over nicely, and I really enjoyed every mile that I ran in this shoe. I was kind of trying to figure out where it fits in a lineup. Does this shoe compete with the Asics Superblast 3? And that's kind of where I came down on this shoe, deciding on the run is like, is it worth spending the $10 extra to get that shoe? But here in the post-run debrief, I'm realizing that for me, a person that tests a lot of shoes and owns a lot of shoes, I have a place in my lineup for both of them. This for me feels like that very comfortable max stack recovery shoe that when I'm really beat up and tired, I'll put this shoe on. I can still get out there and get my 5 to 10 miles in, and I feel fresh the next day. The Asics, it has a little bit more of a performance-oriented shoe. It's lighter, has a thinner upper, and this is not a comparison battle, but just trying to show you that if you are considering this shoe, and you might have some other shoes that are in a similar place in your lineup, I think this shoe is good enough to stand up on its own. So well done, Saucony. I really love this shoe. Again, it reminds me of the shoes that I really fell in love with when I started to expand my rotation. The Hoka Bondi 6, the Hoka Clifton 6. Some of those earlier shoes that I started to pair with the Saucony Endorphin Speed 1 and the Vaporfly 1. I started to build out my rotation for the first time around 2019 or 2020, somewhere around there. And this reminds me of an updated and upgraded Hoka Bondi 6. And that for me is the highest praise I can give a slow max cushion daily trainer. So again, this shoe is daily grind approved. I wasn't sure if I was going to be keeping it, selling it, sending it back, but I will be keeping this shoe in rotation. I do now want to pair it with, down the line, the Saucony Endorphin Elite 3 and see if that could be my fall marathon race day shoe. And there you have it, the Saucony Paramount Max. As always, every mile counts, and stay on that daily grind. I'll catch you guys on the next one.